This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
You're listening to the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. And now, here's your host, Lisa Rangel.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the 20th episode of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast. I'm Lisa Rangel, host of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast and founder of Chameleon Resumes. We are an executive resume writing, LinkedIn profile development, and job search consultancy firm that help executives and high potential leaders land their next position faster. And today's podcast show topic is about maximizing your business travel efforts and networking while you're on these trips. I'm of the mindset, if you're making these trips for work already, make these trips work for you in a multifaceted way. Don't just get the work done that you need for work. Work for yourself too, by nurturing and expanding your network while you're in this new city or in at least this location that's not your home. So the key is that most people yearn for human connection in our technologically connected world, and meeting in real life can help you not only learn the trends that are in your industry and in your profession to stay in the forefront of your industry or profession, but you'll also be meeting people that can possibly help you stay ahead in your field or introduce you to the next person who's going to help you. So as always, the key is to do this before you need it. Tap these resources before you need the search to be done, and just do it genuinely and get to know people and have fun along the way. So let's do this. In past episodes, we talked about the only way to truly protect yourself from job loss is to pretend you're fired today and make a list of those activities that you would do to start finding your next job, and then doing these activities proactively while you're employed so you can stay in demand, keep yourself in demand while you don't necessarily need a job. You want to do it before you need it. This is the key element, the key premise in this Pretend You're Fired Today action list. The nature of the podcast is to be ready before you need it. Keep your network primed. Stay active. Stay in the forefront of your network's mind to consistently create demand for yourself. I want you to be in demand before you need it. So for that to happen, you need to build it before you need it. And this way, if your job situation changes unexpectedly, you already have pent-up demand for what you are doing by these actions that I'm going to show you here today. So as we said in episode 1, the first thing on that Pretend You're Fired Today to-do list is to get your resume ready and up to speed. That's the key. And as we covered this in the first 8 episodes, we looked at how to format the resume according to today's trends. This way you can have maximum impact in marketing yourself. We spent the following 4 episodes after the resume focusing on the other equally important document for you to maintain, and that is your LinkedIn profile. And in the last few episodes, some of the topics that we covered were the 5 most common career mistakes that I see people make every day. I see them make these errors every day. How to work with recruiters, how recruiters work, how to set up informational interviews. These were some of the topics that we discussed. So you're going to want to revisit those episodes because we had more topics that I'm not even mentioning here today. But today, we're going to cover the steps that you need to take to maximize your business travel to nurture your network. So here goes. So here's some activities to do before your trip, while you're on your trip, and after your trip to make the most of this trip that you're already making. So first, look on Facebook, LinkedIn, your address book, and see who in your network lives in the town that you're headed toward. So before a trip, I would do some research and reach out to people that are living in that town, whether they're from college, whether they're from work, whether they're from work-related connections, whether it's personal, childhood friends. I would see who is in that town or near it and just let them know that you're going to be there and see what comes up. Sometimes even if you don't actually have the time to meet someone or they don't have the time to meet you, just even making the connection can lead to a conversation that nurtures a relationship further. Say you do that little search and you don't really see anyone in your town, in that town that you're headed towards. So you might consider announcing it on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever social media platform you use for work or personal, if you want to do this on a personal note as well, and announce that you're going to be in town. See who's open to meet with you. See what comes to you. So you can put yourself out there as well. And doing this in industry-specific or profession-focused groups, say on LinkedIn, can also have its benefits. Now you're reaching out to your network. Use your judgment accordingly. Obviously, everyone needs to be safe. Another thing you can do beforehand is see if there's an alumni group in the town that you're visiting for your college? And do they have a meeting while you're in town? Do they have a social event while you're in town? If there's no events going on while you're in town, would someone from the board or from the membership committee or just someone from the alumni group in general, if the leadership of the alumni group can put it out to the membership that you're in town, maybe somebody would be willing to have drinks with you while you're in town. I use the phrase when I'm reaching out in the spirit of networking to see if we can connect. So it's open. There's no pressure and it's light and easy. And like I said, if somebody can't meet you, just the fact that you're reaching out, it can lead to a Skype conversation, a phone conversation, an email exchange, which is already then just human interaction. And that's the goal of all this. And one of the last rules that I have that I try to follow myself also is make breakfast work for you. Aim to have breakfast with someone each and every morning that you're there. So this way, no matter what happens in your day, you've connected with somebody. So if the rest of the day goes south, at least for breakfast, you made a human connection and you might be able to help somebody. You might be able to connect to people that can help the person you met with for breakfast and someone else. Like you might be able to do some good in the day just because you met someone and had a human connection. Again, this can be work related or not, but the key is that it's in real life connection. And then some activities to do after your trip is upon returning from the trip, make sure each person that you connected with in person during the trip is a LinkedIn connection. Even if they're an existing work contact, you'll be surprised sometimes, or at least I'm surprised sometimes. Somebody I've known for years, all of a sudden I realize I'm not connected to them on LinkedIn. So just double check so you can leverage that as well through the power of LinkedIn. Whether you know them or you just met them, just make sure you're connected, and if you're not connected, send the request and connect with that person. And if it's a casual connection that you made, maybe make an entry on your calendar like a few months from your trip and just aim to reevaluate what's happened since the trip and that notice, that tickler event on your calendar and see if you should be connecting with them again via phone, via email. If you've been connecting the whole time, then obviously you can just discard it, but maybe you haven't, when that tickler comes up a few months from now, you haven't reached out to them since the trip. So that's a good opportunity just to casually reach out and see what's up. And if it's more of a work-related or purposeful, time-sensitive connection, come back from your trip and put it on your calendar in the right time frame when you should be reaching out. So it just helps. I find that the less I have in my brain and the more I have in my calendar, I'm more likely to do it. So that's what I would suggest. And also applying these points will enable you to genuinely nurture your network in really easy ways and keep it primed for when you need it. I could tell you that so many people don't do this. So even just doing most of this, and they're pretty easy, you're going to be ahead of most people because most people don't do this. And as you sit and have breakfast, as you have drinks or coffee, or as you meet people in general, even if it's just on the phone, genuinely listen, be an ear. Connect people together that can help each other. Share ideas that you have with the individual that you're meeting with. And this way, then when it's time for you to need that ear or that connection or that idea, people will be more likely to help you. They'll be happier to help you because you've helped them and you've been generous. That shouldn't be your purpose, but know that that's a very awesome benefit from this whole thing. So I'm proud of you. As I say every podcast, I'm proud of you that you're taking these steps to making yourself in demand when you don't need to be in demand yet. So most people wait for that unexpected job change to happen. And they don't even know they're waiting. They just think their job's going to last forever. And then boom, it doesn't. And then they're scrambling to learn all this stuff. So kudos to you for taking care of yourself, taking care of your career, taking care of your family. Because ultimately, when you take care of yourself in this manner, you're not as stressed. And in turn, you can have a better life around you, whatever that family looks like for you. Doing it before you need it, that's the key. So were any of these tactics that we mentioned today new to you? If so, I'm thrilled because that's the whole point of doing this. And if they're not new to you, then I'm hoping the reinforcement and hearing them again allows you to ask yourself this one question. Are you doing these suggestions? Are you doing these actions? Because, knowing them and not doing them isn't going to help you. You need to take action. So let's take action on today's episode. I want you to take our job landing quiz at joblandingquiz.com and see what other job search information you either know and you're not doing, or that you don't know in general. And as a result, it would hinder your ability to find a job fast if you needed to unexpectedly. We want to avoid that. So once you receive your score on the quiz, you will get access to free training that will help you implement what you learned today, as well as fill in your knowledge gaps to make sure that you have those filled and you know the knowledge before you need it. Remember, for the next few episodes of the Pretend You're Fired Today podcast, we're going to continue going through a list of tactics and activities to do now as if you were let go today to make sure that you are always ready for whatever the world brings your way. First item on the list was your resume. We want to get that ready. We cover that in episodes 1 through 8. The second item on the list was updating your LinkedIn profile, which you can review in episodes 9 through 12. And in the last few episodes, some of the topics we covered, and this is by no means exhaustive. You're going to want to revisit the podcast list to get all the topics. But some of them that we covered are going to be the 5 most common career mistakes that I see smart people make each and every day, how to work with recruiters and how they work in general. So this way you understand that. And 3 easy ways to connect with your network when you don't need them. So this way they're there when you do. And in the next episode, I'm going to show you ways that you can still network at a conference even when you can't attend the conference. All is not lost when you cannot make the conference. There's still ways to benefit and network from that. So I'm going to show you how to capitalize on these events from afar. My friend saved me with her priceless advice, Pretend You're Fired Today, and I am paying it forward with you today. And I ask you as well to pay this sentiment forward, pay this message forward to someone and share it with as many people that you feel that would benefit from building the demand before you needed advice. Think of how you're going to benefit from it and share that with somebody. And to also to educate yourself on the actions of the Pretend You're Fired Today activity list, go take our quiz at joblandingquiz.com. And in addition to the activities to stay in demand before you need it, see what else you may not know how to do and right now and fill in that knowledge gap with the free training that we offer coupled with the quiz. So in our next episode, I will show you how to network at a conference that you're unable to attend. Again, all is not lost if you can't make the event. We're going to show you how to capitalize on that even when you can't make the conference. So thanks for joining me today, and we will pick up in the next episode. Have a great week.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.